throwing away food. So I like that you get like a 5 milliliter packet of, I don't know, sauce, for example, and then that's like it, or seasoning, because I just think otherwise you waste so much. But it's also quite expensive. I don't know. It kind of doesn't, I don't know about where you are, but it doesn't quite work out cheaper. Like when you've got to buy like other household stuff on top of it,
Exactly.
doesn't really work out cheaper.
Yeah. We
So
don't.
yeah, we kind of
Yeah.
stopped doing it unless there's a discount on.
So this
Exactly.
is what
Yeah.
we've got. It's Nonna Tonda, and this is what he's having.
Nice. Sounds nice.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Good old raviolis.
Yeah, I didn't like it, so I'm having noodles tonight. We had this yesterday as well.
Hopefully Emmanuel likes it.
I don't know what Castel Poto sausage is.
It's got like it's kind of paprika-y, pork sausage, and it's got fennel, some other stuff, rosemary, carrot, celery, ricotta. Yeah, in a mix.
Is it like Hello Fresh?
Kind of, but I don't think you have to like subscribe for a period of time. I think you can just kind of get it as and when.
Oh, nice.
That's the only dish that we've got.
It's more like, what's the other kind of well-known pasta order? Fresh pasta order.
Pasta Evangelista. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like pasta evangelist. So it's fresh pasta with some kind of sauce and cheese or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got a discount, so I was just trying it out.
Worth it or not really?
I really liked this one. I think the quality is good.
Yeah, the quality's good. I'd like to try another one.
They deliver once a week.
I wasn't impressed that they delivered at 5 a.m. and we didn't know.
Yeah, the delivery person was not great. But I think you can. We ordered 4 portions, but I think you can order up to 6 or 8.
Sorry, wait. I think the sound's a bit blurry for me, but I heard Emmanuel got pasta at 5 in the morning. Is what I kind of heard. I don't know if that's quite right.
Yeah, it wasn't by choice in terms of the timing. It's meant to be all day Thursday delivery, and they delivered it at 5 in the morning and didn't ring our bell or anything. And I just realized when I was on the way to work, I told Camilla that, hey, I just saw this email, and the picture was still dark. I was like, what's this? And then I saw the time. So for goodness sakes.
Okay, so quick question. Oh wait, is this a meal prep service and not like a Deliveroo thing where they cooked pasta and left it on your door at 5 in the morning, right? It's just like that.
You got drunk and ordered a pasta and they delivered it at 5 a.m.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like,
oh, I believe you for a second. I'm like, wait, I was confused.
I mean, like, it might have been, right? Like, I know for a fact I've ordered, like, Harvester, like, what? Yeah, it was Harvester at Rob's house. I mean, like, it could have worked that way.
Oh man, but no, it was Nonna Tunda, like Grandma Tunda. It's like Pasta Evangelist.
Oh right, okay, yeah, Pasta Evangelist. I actually like Pasta Evangelist. They're not too bad. There's a center point in like Central, so that's probably the reason why I can get it decent in a decent enough time. Oh, is that what you're eating now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet. What sauce do you get?
So it was you said it already, but it's like a castapoto sausage and spinach ravioli with sage butter.
Sage butter is a good choice for ravioli, yes.
Yeah, and grated cheese, but grated ground Moravia cheese.
Oh, so not as salty as pecorino, but not exactly as not as like strong as Parmesan then. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I speak food to me. I can definitely when people speak food, I can definitely understand most people when they speak food. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about onion sandwiches? Man, you guys, when you guys started that extra chat, right? I didn't think it would be as what's the word I want to say? As it, I would controversial is not like not the word
Active?
I would use. It's just I'll say as active, probably as active
Okay.
and as I had strong opinions about food things. I guess is probably the correct things. It's just like, yeah, we have very strong food opinions.
Yes.
And as I'll say this because I think I've explained this before. I don't like pineapple on pizza because I personally don't think pineapple works with sourdough bread or like that particular I don't think pineapple would work with bread in that case. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think bread and pineapple work together. So I wouldn't put bread, pineapple, tomato, cheese, and ham together. So just that's why I don't like pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, fair.
So I do agree that like pineapple on pizza is objectively bad, but the reason that it's objectively bad is the reason that I like it. So that's how it works.
I don't think it's bad at all. I think that's delicious.
It is. I agree it's delicious, but I can understand why people think it's wrong because it sort of it works against the tomato. So I get why people say it's wrong, but
No,
I still
there's
really like it.
there's nothing wrong with pineapple and tomato because like you can have like a mix of like salsa blends with which is like a pineapple chutney blend with like a salsa and mix that together and that's fine. It's just it doesn't work on like sourdough bread or it doesn't work on bread is what I'm saying. I don't think pineapple and bread goes together. It's kind of like the conversation where I had with your like I think I understand your mindset about like opening your sandwich and eating it individually. It's like charcuterie. It's like I don't think if yeah, no, I mean, no, like, I think you said if you have extra deli meat as you eat a sandwich, that's, you're just doing a constructed charcuterie board or deconstructed sandwich. That's literally what your brain is going through. I've done it before, don't worry, I understand completely because I've literally done that before. Got two of, like, the crackers and placed the meats together and just ate it like a sandwich. It's like, yeah, that's literally what you're doing. It's like, that's fine, that's perfectly acceptable.
But no,
Do you know what major problem? Sorry. No, I'm going to start like a pineapple related topic, but if you're still on this topic, you go.
Oh, it is related to that, to be fair, because I was just gonna say like the reason that you often see why like particularly chefs are against pineapple on pizza is because of like the acidity of the sauce and the acidity of the pineapple kind of work in a way that you only taste the pineapple rather than the sauce. And I do get that. Like I do, like since I've kind of like read that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. But I like it. So
it's so like bright and fresh, and it's like yeah. I never thought about how it competes with like the acidity of the tomato sauce before. But anyway, I recently learned, I don't know how it took me so long to figure out that when I eat fresh pineapple and then I eat something else right after that, my taste reception of like the flavors will be dulled. Like I know that pineapple like eats away at the tissues in your mouth.
Because that's because
Yeah,
there's an enzyme
bromelain
in
or
pineapple
something.
which like breaks down your mouth basically. So
Yeah.
like when you're eating pineapple, it's also eating you.
I just
That-
I think it's called bromelain or something with a B. But I didn't know it affected my taste buds until recently, and that's really not cool.
That also happens with artichoke. I realised as well because there's a thing that it's one of the taste bud receptors that are very similar that affect your taste buds. It's the reason why. Have you guys ever heard of miracle fruits?
No.
Okay.
I have.
So, okay. So miracle fruit is a particular fruit fruit in itself, which dried into a powder, I think is how you eat it, that changes your taste buds completely. So you would eat it, and it makes things like someone's had like something that was sour, but it's like, oh, but it tastes sweet somehow. I can't even taste sour anymore, and it's like, so it changes your taste buds completely. I don't know exactly the science behind it. I just I know about it. I've always wanted to get myself some, but I don't know where.
It's quite an interesting topic because it just reminded me. For the longest time, I wasn't sure if I liked pineapple. When I was a kid, I loved it, and then I didn't like it for some reason, and I was just like, I really hate the aftertaste of it. But I found out kind of recently. I think my mum helped discover it because I have a fixed retainer in my mouth at the bottom set of my teeth. It has because of the zinc in the metal. It combats against the pineapple acidity, and it just messes up my taste. And that's why for the longest time I did not like pineapple, because of that reason, because of the retainer in my mouth. So I just have to kind of like, oh, that makes sense. What I just was not a fan of pineapple at all. For some reason, I just that was a switch, and it was a time I got retainers when I was in my teens, and that's since then I've been like iffy on pineapple. But as long as I eat it in small doses, it's fine. It's just the combination of those two things just set me off, and I'm like, it's the aftertaste. I can't stand it, but it's the combination of those two elements that just do not like each other.
So do you just taste metal in your mouth then?
Well, not normally, but only when I have pineapple. It's the
Okay.
taste is a really horrible, weird acidicness. Obviously, it's an acidic fruit. It's citrus, so therefore it's going to be intensified because of the metal. I can't explain it. Maybe there's someone else.
Right? No. So I can just imagine you just like holding like a teaspoon in your mouth for like ages. I just like I can just taste teaspoon. And just like, oh right, okay, I get that. Oh, okay,
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it is indeed. Yeah, like pineapple on pizza. If I liked it more, it'd be fine. I'm like John at the same time. I don't get why people think it's an abomination. It's not. It's just not my thing. If someone had it at a party and they had it as the only pizza, I'd be like, sure, great pizza, wonderful. But I wouldn't choose to have it. That's my sense.
I think people think it's an abomination. I think it's more about tradition.
Yeah,
Really.
it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's two things, like, because it's partly tradition, but it's also like, it's like what I said the other day, like, if you're a chef who's put like loads and loads of time into a sauce, and then somebody's put pineapple on it and can't taste it, I can see why you'd be like, for fuck's sake.
it's like putting ketchup all over something. It's just like it's just gonna destroy the flavor.
Yeah, but like you can say that about not just like pizza. You can say that about pretty much any cuisine. If you had like whatever world food you make, if you just suddenly add a big blob of ketchup on it, generally speaking, it's very disgraceful. It could be Italian food, it could be Chinese food, it could be Indian food, it could be any sort of food. It is. You just like you go. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's basically pet almost every meal.
He's not. Wait. I mean, he's not here right now, so I don't want to like. I need to discuss him. Is he a ketchup fiend? Does he eat? Does he just?
He does like eggs with ketchup.
That's not too bad.
That's
not too bad.
As much as Pat.
No, but steak ketchup and all kinds of sandwiches, like BLTs. He loves those.
BLT. I feel like bacon is okay with ketchup, because like, but yeah, BLT with ketchup is fine. But like,
No, mayonnaise.
wait, on a BLT?
Yeah. Mayonnaise over ketchup. Preferably garlic mayonnaise only.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're going for, right? But then again, I don't really eat BLTs. I don't really eat BLTs, so I don't.
I don't like lettuce.
Yeah.
I like those.
To add to that, two things. One, Rachel, I wonder if you would like it with QP mayo instead of standard mayo. Have you ever
Yeah.
had Kewpie mayo?
No, I probably have, but I wouldn't intentionally be able to call it out, if you see what I mean. I've probably had it on like
Yeah.
something sushi-wise, but I've never, I
Yeah,
can't recall exactly what it tastes like, if you see what I
It's
mean.
the mayo that's on the sushi from that new place in Broadwater.
I don't tend to get that though. I tend to get quite plain, but you get like dragon rolls, don't you, with crispy onion? Yeah, I tend to get mine just
It's
simple.
basically just like richer because they only
What?
use egg yolks. They don't use the egg white.
Yeah, it's also because of the apple cider vinegar instead of malt vinegar. I think we literally had this conversation on the chat as well. I had to explain it to John. Yeah, so it's also why he doesn't like John doesn't like the quote unquote brown sauce that is on like
Oh, I love brown
takoyaki.
sauce.
Mm.
Oh, brown sauce is elite.
Yeah.
I love like tamarind as a flavour.
No, Pat hates brown sauce for some reason.
You know what, I mean, I don't think, no, because Pat doesn't like, well, he doesn't like fish that much. And Worcestershire sauce is technically anchovy sauce, technically. I mean, like, Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire, I guess, it's Look, it's easier to remember it as if it was the best of shires, it was the worst of shires. So that's the best way you remember it, okay?
That's why he said that.
Worcestershire, so, yeah. Worcestershire is usually made of, it's usually like fermented anchovy sauce. At least the super original version is.
Yeah.
And then afterwards then if you break it down further enough, then you add tomatoes and onions, then it becomes ketchup, and it's a breakdown of like history, food history. If you break down food history technically enough, ice cream is Chinese food. If you break it down further enough, it's just like one of those. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
No. It's one of those things I remember in history books. Ice cream is Chinese food. Snow cones are Greek.
Interesting.
Oh man, do you know what? We should have like a weekly like food chat because I have so many talking points.
Hopefully, one of us will pick Chef at some point. The movie Chef, that'll be a good talking point as well.
I mean, I have like food movies. They're not necessarily good food movies. I mean, no. I mean, like the food movies. I think Rob knows one of my food movie choices. It's not a good food movie choices. It's like, it's one of those food movie choices. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Simon's food movie choice is one of your dad's favourite films, Rachel.
Wait, was it Animal House? Where they're just like there's the
food
food fight.
choice is one of your dad's favourite films.
What is it?
Oh, we can't reveal it early. If you don't know your dad's favourite films,
if someone's gonna pick it, we have to keep it quiet.
I'll pick it. I don't know when is my next choice.
My dad's favourite food film, Rob.
I don't know if it's his favourite food film, but he watched it when we were living there, and he was raving about it for like 2 weeks.
Blimey, that is high praise for my dad, to be fair.
Oh man.
Yeah, but like, have we not started recording yet? Have we?
I have, but I can cut things off if you don't want to.
Oh no, it's because like I was gonna say, because like if we want to talk about that, Rachel's dad liking like my picks, he did have you guys did do a laughing emoji when I picked the Grinch for Christmas. Grinch stole Christmas in April. I heard that he cracked up. I was like, yes, my reputation precedes me. Yeah. Which is also, I guess, a question of like me going, Emmanuel, why did you pick this Christmas film?
Christmas.
It's a Christmas film. It literally starts as a Christmas film.
No, Dunder.
Yeah, it was though. I was laughing when you said that. I was just like, I don't know if it counts, but I picked it because it was apparently a cult classic. I hadn't seen it. Camilla hadn't seen it. I think quite a few people might know the music in it, a lot of references to it, but not actually have watched the film. In a random kind of thing, Camilla's wearing a shirt I made for Agatha All Along, which of course heavily references Wizard of Oz throughout the TV show of that season.
It has a song called "Down, Down, Down the Road, Down the Witch's Road."
Yeah,
That is like sung a lot.
yeah,
And they're on a yellow road.
yeah. It's great. But yeah, I thought it would be a fun time. I'm glad I picked it. It was for us anyway. It was a fun time, great experience. Nice to see a lot of the people who were in that film that you don't see these days for obvious reasons. But yeah, that's why I picked it. As a last note on the sauces, sorry, just going to finish off. As a random point, I don't eat a lot of standard sauces because I think I get quite bored of them. So I have lots of kind of, it's not like artisan, but like special ones that like mix of different flavors, or they're like, I don't know, maybe it's called a burger sauce, but it's like a blend of mustard and different things from Taste the Difference range or whatever. I appreciate like the kind of high quality sauces that do try different things.
And if he doesn't have one of those, then he'll just mix a bunch of random stuff together.
That's not true. That's only last recently. I made my own chili Caesar sauce. That was nice though.
Mhm.
Ah,
Emmanuel likes to cite his sources.
He's addressing-
Fuck. Okay. The actually made me groan. But yeah, chili Caesar sauce. That doesn't sound too bad. I just think the spice and the cream would cancel out each other a bit more, though.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
wait, sorry.
So
Also,
yes,
just quick, when Emmanuel says people aren't here and the cast aren't here, when Michael Jackson's dead, like I'm just trying to clarify. What do you mean?
Most of them are dead.
No,
Yeah,
Diana
yeah,
Ross is very much been kicking.
Very much alive and kicking, but
but yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
it's either a lot of them are either
Like Quincy
dead
Jones.
or so old that they're not really acting in anything. You have
Yeah.
a few like who wait, no, did she actually act in it or she didn't? The one who plays the wicked Krunks, the one who curses Krunk, Eartha Kitt, she was meant to be in the film, but I can't remember what she was meant to play. I think she was one of the ones they had in mind for it wasn't Dorothy.
no.
It was someone else. Who was it?
Witches.
Oh,
Maybe-
yeah, one of the witches.
Maybe the one lady, you know, the numbers lady.
Maybe.
Miss Uno or something.
I
Maybe.
think her name is just Miss One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was it, Miss One.
Yeah. It was either that or it was Evelyn. It was one of the two. It might have been Evelyn, since she could probably play that. But anyway, that's what I meant, Rachel. It's just
Okay.
such a long time ago. That's why we wouldn't really see so many people in it.
I'll go next. I was really surprised by this film because, right, obviously it's in the 70s and like, oh, you adjusted it. I was expecting like the makeup and the. Are you okay?
Easing down the roads in my head.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cool. I was expecting like the makeup for like the Crow people, for example, or like Tin Man. I was expecting it to be really ropey. I was really impressed by like how good some of the makeup was. But I had so much fun. It's a bit dumb. Is it cheesy? Yes. It's completely wacky and wild and out there. but I had so much fun watching it. I was really impressed by Diana Ross's acting. I wasn't expecting her to be as good as she was. I think the framing of it was, I wasn't sure how certain things were gonna like translate because they changed the setting from the original story. But I think the job was well done. It wasn't, perfect. It wasn't fantastic. It was fantastic, but it wasn't perfect. As in, I enjoyed it, but there's a lot that wasn't great. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
It is different from like the original, like, well, I say original, but like it is different from the much older, like, well, starts black and white before goes to color again movie. I can't even remember when that was made. I can't remember.
1939.
Yeah.
it was the face.
Yeah. I've got to say, on like the production and makeup side of this, because we know Mark Sexton to be kind of skinny, so when he's got like that thick, sort of like big, like rounded head of his, it did take me a quick second just to go, is that Michael Jackson? Then you hear the voice, you go, yes, obviously that's Michael Jackson, right? Oh, it did take me a quick minute. Go, huh? Oh, yeah. But like production-wise, this film is actually fairly well done, I would say, mainly because like this was eventually made into a musical stage play, right? From what I understand.
It was first.
Yeah, it was a musical first.
Oh, it's a musical. Okay, that explains where all of those like dresses and production for all those sort of like costumes came from, because there was quite a decent amount. Like seeing all those like seeing them wear them and like do like the dance in the Emerald City End when they're doing the, let's say, red light district of the poppies, and like it was like, oh yeah, it's very well, it's surprisingly well made. The story is a bit, yeah, it doesn't hit quite the same as the original, which is unfortunate, because like there's certain parts where like I guess the main focus about Dorothy is it changes. It's like her main focus is slightly changed. But we'll get into that afterwards. But it's just like, but generally speaking, it's the same general like story loops. You got like what each character with their reasons for what they want, and like the general like process of each character with the Scarecrow brain and all that stuff. How they get from point A to point B is a bit. I mean, it's a good song, right? Yeah, but it's like they did overplay certain jokes. Like the first time this taxi came onto the screen was fucking hilarious, right? I thought that was like, is that alright? Because they're in New York, it makes sense. You can never catch a taxi. Then they did it twice. Okay. Then they did it three. Okay, you overplayed the joke. You overplayed the joke. That's it. You done it. You did it twice. I was okay, fine. But you did it too much, and it was just like, okay, it's just like, yeah. But like generally speaking,
I thought it was symbolism. I don't think it was meant necessarily to be funny. I took it as they were being denied a I took it as they were being denied a taxi ride. For being black. That's what I took. I took it as they were being denied a taxi ride, similar to kind of, I think, around that era.
I mean,
so
okay.
As soon as they show up, they're not going to take the work.
I understood. I understand where you're coming from, Rach. But it was the third time we see the taxi. They didn't leave. They were just broken, and it's just like, I don't get. I was like, it was just like, maybe there was that context there. I didn't see it there. If there is context there, I didn't see it the first time. I might have to like quickly have a quick rewatch and go, oh right, yeah. But like initially seeing one taxi leaves, two taxis leaves. The third time the taxis are there, they're broken. Then there's like four taxis that don't even bother with the taxis, just go around the taxis, and it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. It's like for me, I thought it was done for more of the giggles. But if there is context there, no, there's no context on like the race stuff for the Tin Man section. But that's jumping the gun. We need to get everyone else to do their opinions as well first. So, what was your opinions, everyone? No one wants now. Go on. Anyone else for opening?
Opening statement, Simon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my opening statement. Yeah, my opening statement was it's good. It's very well produced. Certain parts were interesting, let's say, but we'll discuss it in a bit.
I think it grew on me a lot because I think when the opening happens and you get the bit with so you know like the Munchkins are like graffiti on the walls and they're kind of like peeling themselves off. Like when that was happening, I was kind of sat there thinking like this is a bit absurd. I was like I'm not sure I'm gonna get on with this kind of thing. But then the more it went on, the more I just really tuned into the humour of it. I think I loved the lion. I thought he was awesome. The bit where Toto bites his foot, I thought that was hilarious. And I just he was my highlight, man. I just felt like as soon as he turned up and like every time he was interacting with anyone, I was like, this is awesome. It was a bit of a jump scare when Richard Pryor came out. I had no idea he was in it. So like when he turned out to be the wizard, I was like, what the but yeah, no, I think I ended up really enjoying it actually. I think in terms of like, you know, a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, it was pretty much like I don't know if there was like anything that was kind of like too kind of individual about it, because it was kind of just like a different flavour of The Wizard of Oz more than anything else. But yeah, I really got on with it in the end. There was a moment where like when you first see the Scarecrow, like it's obvious it's Michael Jackson because it's Michael Jackson, and I was kind of looking at his face, like, what the fuck have they done? Like this is a really weird like choice of makeup. And then when they zoomed in on his face and they showed that his nose was like a Reese's Buttercup kind of wrapper, I was like, oh, it makes sense now. But yeah, like some of the production choices were really weird to me, but yeah, I really liked the sort of I thought it had really really good vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Reese's Cup on Michael Jackson's face. I just saw that immediately when I was like, "Where's he got Reese's Cup on his face?" But I was like, "That's quite an interesting choice of character and art direction." Because if I may go next, I thought this film is nowhere near as bad as like pop culture makes it out to be. It's a weird curio of a movie. I wouldn't say it is like a masterpiece in my opinion, but it isn't like an awful big massive flop like some people have said it is. And like if you see the ratings of it online, it's a disaster. It's like no, it's not quite that. Maybe I think because of the people behind it, you'd expect it to be like as good as the original Wizard of Oz. It should have been absolute barnstorming classic that's up there with the original because it's directed by a terrific director, Sidney Lumet, I think his name is, who did 12 Angry Men. He's known to be this just amazing workman director, and it's written weirdly by Joel Schumacher. From The Lost Boys and Batman Forever, and it's like, yeah, Joel Schumacher was writing screenplays in there. Okay, fair enough. And he manages to convey such a great, like, I don't know, it just seems like it would have been written by an African-American writer because it's so like of the zeitgeist and of the type, and it's just got all these influences and it's done so respectfully and so intricately. And you wouldn't expect that these two white guys would be able to do something like this, to put it bluntly. It's just so very well realised. The concept of it is very original and kind of unique. It's kind of like this weird, twisted, dystopian version of New York in the future of what it could be. and what it could become, kind of thing. And I did appreciate that. It wasn't just this fictional land. It was a weird version of something we know, something familiar. And I suppose the reason why people would be expecting so much from it, because obviously Quincy Jones doing the soundtrack, he's a master, and the soundtrack itself is fantastic. I like to think most of us will agree that the songs, the soundtrack, the actual sound design of this film is just amazing. And there isn't really a duff song, really, maybe some weaker ones, but overall I think it's quite a very, very strong selection of tracks that tell the story, but having a good enough identity to kind of work on their own a bit. But at the same time, I would say that I think it probably would work better as a staged production. And I think just because of how the set designs were, it was quite minimalistic, and it's quite, this is the basically dystopian New York with things we know and see. It's just they can recreate this quite well on stage, and I'm sure they did. And it would have been quite immersive to see them do it, because it would have been quite interesting and engrossing to see how they pulled it off. And it would have been easier for them to do so because the set design isn't so outlandish or over the top that it wouldn't be on the realms of impossibility. It's just that perfect balance of just weird science fiction take on something we know very well. But I think what drags about this film is that it's probably a little bit too long, and some elements of the story do drag on or go in a weird tangent that I don't think works. But other times I feel that some elements aren't developed enough. And I think the Wicked Witch was a wonderful character. I can't remember what she was called in this, and she was introduced, and then she was basically taken out in the next 10 minutes by Dorothy, by the sprinklers. So I feel like you didn't get to know her well enough, and she didn't have enough of an impact, or long enough in impact. But how they introduced Michael Jackson's Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion, they were all brilliant. That was a really excellent alternative version of how they would do it from the original. It's just like familiar but different. It's just a good take, and like how good, interesting they made the Tin Man being just like this carnival sideshow with this abandoned amusement park. That was a really good texture that they added to him. Little flourishes like that were really good. But I do miss like the ending of the original Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy goes back to the real world, her home, and she sees her family and friends, and they are the reflection of the people she met in Oz. And I feel that they could have done that really well, but obviously maybe they would have, and they just would like the film's long enough, we have to cut to Dorothy just going into her home. But I thought overall they did a swell job of doing something different and unique, even if not all of it like works. I do think the attempt in making it was worthwhile, and it's a great one to visit again. Thank you, Emmanuel and Camilla, for choosing it, because I probably wouldn't have seen it properly otherwise, because I think I'd only seen bits of it here and there. And I know the soundtrack well, like the 3 or 4 songs from it, like He's on Down the Road, for instance, is just like, it's going to be in my head forever, just because of how catchy and brilliant it is. But it's a very worthy version of the Wizard of Oz story. I think it's a good pick. Lastly, if anyone noticed, maybe if anyone did, the scene where they go to Oz and they actually go into basically New York, and the big dance number, I forget what it's called. On the golden piano is Quincy Jones himself as a little cameo. He just has a few moments where he actually see him like living it up, just rocking out on the piano. I thought those little bits like that were great. Yeah, all the set pieces are great. And I'm sure if they ever revived it back on the West End or Broadway, I definitely would love to go and see it.
I think they are doing a film of it, or maybe on Broadway. Because I was saying to Rob that I watched The Real Housewives. I'm a Bravo fan, but Candy from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's like producing another version of it. She's talking about it last season, so there might be a, I don't know if it's a Broadway version or it's a film version. I'll check in a minute. But yeah, they are planning on redoing it.
Yeah.
Well,
Wonderful.
I assume it'll be like maybe a film version, since that you have the kind of the live recorded The Wiz kind of stage version.
NBC.
no, it's going to be Broadway.
Oh,
Apparently,
is
Broadway
it?
revival of The Wiz. Yeah.
Oh, another Broadway, man.
The NBC Live one is like filmed on a soundstage and broadcast live, though it's not like.
Oh, I get what you mean. It's not a Broadway like it was in the past.
Yeah, no, it's just a live broadcast.
It might be film. I don't know. Yeah, apparently they're working on that. I think. Cool. Yeah, I don't mind doing my opening statement quickly because I'm going to drop off soon. Yeah, I hadn't seen it before, but I kind of was aware that it was I guess through actually The Real Housewives rather than like Family or anything like that. It was where it kind of felt like a cult classic for Black people, I guess, in a way. Like I felt like it was quite like a Black kind of culture film. So I was interested to kind of watch it, and I guess what I kind of interpreted the idea of I guess you could argue like the Black kind of like struggle, I guess, was the idea of how it began in the beginning and the family dynamic and that kind of expectation of her to be more or do more. And obviously still to kind of find her own kind of feet. And so I think for me, that's where some of that interpretation of like the taxis, for example, and then being off duty was perhaps the idea of yeah, on the one hand it could be, you know, racism, but also could that idea of like no helping hand on her journey, but also kind of representative of perhaps the struggle that she has to go through in terms of actually figuring it out for herself, kind of thing. So yeah, that was probably where some of that lens kind of came from. But I enjoyed it for what it represented in the sense of having like a predominantly, I think actually everyone was like a kind of all Black cast, which I think you don't normally kind of see. And so the kind of just even like the dancing, the talent, the songs, the kind of theatre of it all, and the kind of show of it all, I thought was pretty spectacular and not something that you kind of see often. I liked the songs. I really liked Ease on Down the Road, and I liked the song at the very end. I swear I've heard Whitney Houston singing it. I need to check, but the very last song that she sang when the Good Witch was there as well. So yeah, so some really nice musical numbers in the song, and I also liked the one in the sweatshop as well. So as a soundtrack, I actually thought it was it was great. I think I kind of struggled with parts of it, and I don't know if it was like jarring visually, but I felt like on one hand they tried to kind of create this escapism and that different reality, and then the other hand, and maybe this is the point, but they kind of had a lot of kind of like New York City, and it kind of dipped between some bits being really kind of abstract looking, and some bits just being very like it's just a car park kind of thing, and it just for me, I'd rather it was all kind of maybe whimsical in one way than kind of mixing between both. I found that quite kind of like the kind of world of it all kind of not consistent for me, which I think made it slightly jarring to watch. But yeah, in terms of I guess kind of, you know, it's not very often that you kind of get a show, not a show, a film kind of transformed, transported in for like a whole nother culture and kind of modernized in that way. So for what it is, I thought that was great. But yeah, there were just some little bits that kind of jarred me a little bit. I don't think everyone was maybe as strong as Diana was. I really thought she was actually quite spectacular acting, and I think so much so that actually other people perhaps weren't as strong, or maybe were just playing themselves in real life in a way. But as a collective, as a piece, I thought it was good, and I'm glad that I've seen it. But I probably enjoyed the songs more than I enjoyed it as an actual show or film. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I enjoyed the musical numbers more than I enjoyed like the film itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good point about like the aesthetics of it. It was like I think the first half is stronger in a way because it's kind of like you know where you are and what kind of how it's going. But then when they go into the weird subway bit, and it's just like literally underground and something quite familiar, but then like everything comes alive a bit and it's strange. Like the trash cans come alive, and the bollards come alive, and everything. Like, it is a bit of a strange choice, but it's like don't get me wrong, it's an interesting production point, but it's just a very unusual and very weird like decision.
I mean, it
And
might have been intentional, right? It could be the idea of like some of it remains familiar to her, and therefore it's more distressing. Kind of, as she's away from home. But I think for me, I guess because you're always comparing it to the original Wizard of Oz, you kind of just wanted her to be in this one space, and that was kind of it, and it's very consistent.
the world
So yeah,
is
I think,
so different to the fantasy world.
exactly. And I think just one thing I'm going to say, because it really annoyed me, how desperate she was to race after Toto in the snowstorm, but halfway through the film, she wasn't looking after Toto at all.
Yeah.
It was not consistent. It was really
It's just
annoying me. It was
wandering
like,
about.
either you care about the damn dog, or you don't. Pick one. Because like, where's Toto in the scene? She's just running off with Michael Jackson. It really annoyed me because that wasn't consistent. So that's my like dig at the plot points for lack of consistency. Okay,
I did notice that when even the first scene when she comes into like the neon kind of like the Munchkin people, what they call it. Toto's just like wandering around, vanished, and she's just like, "Yeah, I need to get the cab." And then where's Toto? And then he's just wandering in the background, just like after him.
Yeah, and over the bridge of the Yellow Brick Road, when I first found it, Toto wasn't there. He took I don't think he was there at all. So yeah, I just think care for your damn dog.
It was the bit after that where I was like, because I deliberately try not to think like this when I'm watching stuff, but it was the bit after that where I was going, how does that work? Because the Yellow Brick Road went up a roller coaster, and I was like, how do you get from the road to? I couldn't work out the logistics of how that would happen.
Yeah, it does swing around a bit like a few times. It's like that was a cool idea and concept. But then again, you see like the sun is actually the Big Apple going up and down. And it's like, oh, okay, this is the kind of film this is.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite make sense.
Oh my god, I only just got the Big Apple thing now.
Why is
the sun an apple?
I hated that so much. It's just seeing that visually just made me go. Yeah, it's like just like.
I thought it was going to be Glinda the Good Witch. To be fair, I thought it was a witch coming down in the bubble, so that was new to me too.
But that was another bit where I was going, this is a weird production choice, because it was like, so it was the bit where they find the Yellow Brick Road, and I thought the start of it was really cool. So where you've got like the rubble and then like the odd yellow brick, I thought that was a really nice way to sort of like lead up to it. And then it looked like in the distance there was a matte painting. And so, like, you had, like, the grey background with, like, the sort of... It looked a bit like a Minecraft gold brick. Like, so you had, like, a grey background and then, like, little speckles of, like, yellow bricks. And I was like, they're getting closer and closer, and it's becoming way too obvious that that's a matte painting. And then they stepped on it, and I was like, oh, they've built this.
I'm sure they used matte paintings. I'm certain that some of the sky shots were matte. But you're right, there's, like, some real impressive set design. Like they just made it so pinpoint accurate to what it would have been on like the paintings. So props to that.
Yeah, there was a lot of work done and put into this. So yeah, I guess I could hop into my opening statement. So let me try to tell it. And I was trying to gather my, but it's best for me to go last because it gives me some time to gather and organize my thoughts. But okay, so I had never seen this. I've heard of it referred to like in just like pop culture, and I'm gonna go to IMDb and like look at the references or like the Wikipedia because I've heard of it before. I just can't remember where I heard of it. And I was looking forward to it. I knew the music was probably gonna be banging, and it was. It was so enjoyable. I was like, bopping around to a lot of the songs, and yeah, the catchiest one of them all was definitely the Yellow Brick Road one. And off the bat, it like I knew it's from 78. I could be a little like I get taken out of movies if like the effects are really dated and stuff like that, but like, that's a bit of a struggle for mine. So that was a little it's not but considering like I was not all of it visually, like some of it visually was very fun and creative. Like in particular when it got to the graffiti people scene and like how it was shot and like the music and like the sounds. I'm like, this is really gonna be a really trippy, weird movie, and I was intrigued by that. I was very intrigued. Um, and then and yeah, so like I more enjoyed the beginning, and the middle kind of started to lose me a bit, and I really got back into it at the end, and so I'll further explain why. But yeah, I loved meeting all of the, like Scarecrow and Tin Man and Lion, and in particular, like I don't think I've ever seen Michael Jackson act in anything before this or since. Like, is this the only thing he's ever acted in?
I think it was his first. I don't know if it was the only thing, but it's definitely his first.
If you don't count the music videos, because like some of the music videos are quite epic and quite
That's
very
true.
like short
Thriller.
films in their own way.
Yeah.
But as a feature
What's
film,
that?
I think this is his first one.
He
Yeah.
also did,
And like I had
Maybe
no
Walk
idea,
Over,
so
which
I
is a
had
bit
no
of a
idea
trip.
what to expect from him. And I like for me in terms of like performance, he was like one of the most enjoyable performances for me. His acting, like I think he did a really great job. And of course, like to hear him sing, like amazing. And then where I started to get lost was and also like what I noticed eventually like numerous times is that like some of the like super wide shots where it's really zoomed out and you're seeing a lot. I felt like visually it wasn't as impactful as much. Like I thought like really like I didn't like the composition of it all. I didn't have something that really like drew my eye and engaged with me. I felt like I was seeing something like, so if this came up, like if this was a stage play first and this was like adapted from a stage play, um that kind of makes sense to me in terms of just like this feels like I would have liked some shots to it felt like it wasn't fully finished to me in terms of like all the shots that were included. And it had an impressive feel because of how big the sets were and how many people were in it, and they were like, it was impressive in a way, but also sometimes I feel like just visually sometimes there's something missing for me. And a couple of the scenes did drag on for me in the middle, like the Emerald City got a bit repetitive, and the factory scene where they kill the second evil witch. That was fun, but then it dragged on again and for me again. And so like I kind of just like lost my way a little bit and like kind of lost my thread on like what the like main messages of this movie were. And then but at the end I picked that up, and like I remembered like I really related to the character of Dorothy. I mean, she was like kind of like afraid to just like step out into the world and like be herself and find out what she's got and like believe in yourself and all that wholesome stuff, you know? Um I really, and like her end scene, like her end solo and like the line she was singing and like the emotion she put into it, it was like hugely impactful. Her like really, she just like knocked it out of the park for me. And so, and again, like, yeah, she was just realizing that she's like grown a lot in this fantasy world, and she's excited, and she's like, she has like confidence in herself, and she's like, and she's obviously, yeah, that was incredible. So she's obviously immensely talented as a singer, but as a performer as well. I think she just like did amazingly. So yeah, the purpose of this movie, the messages and the themes I really resonated with. I just kind of wish it was a stronger thread throughout the whole thing. I felt like I kind of lost that thread in the middle. And yeah, like the witches were kind of just there as part of the package, like original Wizard of Oz story, but I don't feel like they were like, yeah, could have been maybe part of the full bigger picture more in a way. Rather, I felt they were kind of just tacked in there. But yeah, and like I think I'm excited to hear that this is going to be remade into something more modern, because I think it has like a lot of potential to be something fantastic, and this did have a lot of fantastic elements in it. But yeah, I did have some nitpicks. But overall, I did have quite a bit of fun watching this, especially the music. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for picking Emmanuel.
That's all right. I'm glad I picked it. And when you said some of the scenes, it would have been nice if they were shorter. I get what you mean, especially on the Emerald City kind of section. That was actually meant to be even longer, but they literally they weren't able to stay longer to shoot more. It was in the World Trade Center or outside the World Trade Center, and they were only given a certain amount of time, and they wouldn't give them any more time. They said, but we want to film some more and fix these mistakes and do this. And it's like, nah, bye. But it was one of the most expensive films shot in New York City at the time. And I'm probably gonna keep reading up on like the thing I sent in the chat about the Black experience and other things behind it, because I can imagine why at the time it was panned, especially with what was going on in the landscape of things at the time. I wonder why it still has that rating now. Because I could understand if it was like 7 or 6.8, but it's like around like 5.6 or 5 point something. And I'm just like, whoa, I would expect like Ben was saying as well, I was expect a much worse film. But like, yeah.
I think it's partly because of like it's so weird in terms of how things look and how things are designed. It's so weird. It can be a bit jarring. And then it isn't completely fantastical. So there are moments where it kind of feels uncanny valley. Like the scene when they go in the subway, why it feels so weird, because it's like, this feels like, you know, if you've ever like walked through a subway late at night, I try to not use them, but like the one near our old house, and it's like, oh, what's going on? And there's just like lots of, it's definitely quite uncanny valley. But also, I think kind of The Wizard of Oz is such an iconic movie, and it's a movie that has a place in so many people's hearts. It's the sort of thing that you either need to do better than the original, or it's just never gonna even be considered good.
Fair. I get what you mean.
And I do agree. I think, so let's do several points. I agree with what you said, Corey, that definitely some of the scenes were way too long. I felt the scene when they had been freed in the sweatshop, I was like, okay, guys, can we move it along? I wanted to know more about the wizard. Like, what does he do? Where does he go? How does that work? But also, as Rachel said, with the witches, the only one really that I got a sense of who she is and what she's about is Evelina. She's kind of the only one. Otherwise, it almost feels as if they didn't need the witches in the story. But obviously, it being the story it is, you need them there. So yeah, I think that's some of the reasons why.
Yeah,
it's never going to be received as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's like was something such a classic in itself, The Wizard of Oz, and so like not traditional, but I think yeah, I mean even so visually, actually visually it's a lot like not distressing, that's probably a bit extreme, but like The Wizard of Oz original is actually quite like consistent and pleasant and like whimsical and so on, whereas I think this one's kind of like modern but not modern, and then kind of some of it looks outdated, some of the like shots, production, all that kind of stuff, I don't know. And then I also think that a lot of the humour, some of the humour as well, I guess, where especially in that kind of like first song or first number, I can imagine maybe not necessarily hitting with everybody, not everybody kind of getting the jokes. Like I think if it's kind of where it's become, I guess, what was aligned to be kind of like a black culture film, I can imagine all of the jokes or humor maybe necessarily landing with everybody and kind of understanding perhaps some of the like not undertones, but you know what I mean. Like I think, yeah, I just think a lot of people are quite traditionalists, and like Camilla said, I think you've really got to do it like even better. And I know they brought in, because I said in the chat that Diana Ross wasn't meant to be in it. They wanted
Yeah.
Stephanie Mills. She's the one I think that sings that song, "Got to Be Real." That one. But yeah, she
No,
was in
that's
the
Cheryl
musical. Say again.
Lynn. That's Cheryl Lynn. I
No,
think
what's she?
Stephanie
Well, this
Mills
will
was
be
How
an
Come You Don't Call
everlasting
Me.
love.
No, that's Natalie
I don't-
Cole.
Is it? What does she sing? I've got her on the playlist, but I can't think what she sings.
I thought it was How Come You Don't Call Me. But then I was also like, but didn't Prince write that? So maybe he wrote that for her. I meant to look it up, but I didn't.
Oh, I said never knew love like this before. That's it. But she was on the musical version, and then they wanted her to
Yeah.
play it, but then Diana Ross wanted to play the part, but she was told she was too old because I think she was 33 when playing a 24-year-old in the Quincy situation. She was too old, but she went behind his back, I think, to get the part. But actually, they thought that she would bring
Yeah.
in, because it was Diana Ross, that she would bring in a lot more money and like ratings for it. So it's still interesting that even though, like, I mean, Diana Ross is well liked, like, generally by pretty much
And she also
everyone.
brought in Michael Jackson as well,
Yeah,
which is
with Michael
which
Jackson. So I
helped.
don't. Yeah, see, but it didn't help, did it? Because obviously you would hope that, like, I don't know, like, why? Not saying that famous people bring up the ratings, but I don't think that either of them were actually particularly bad in the film, or I think it was more around the production around them that maybe let them
Yeah,
down.
the critics favored at the time anyway. The critics seemed to favor Michael Jackson's performance more than Diana Ross's. Like Diana Ross's performance got a lot of negative kind of the negativity towards it, whereas Michael Jackson's was more consistently positive. Saying that, I can't remember their names. I wonder if Rob knows them. There was two famous critics who did give the film 2 thumbs up. Like, but that wasn't necessarily the sentiment, of course, across many different critics in the industry.
Were
To be honest,
Siskel and
I
Ebert
haven't
around
really-
back then?
Huh?
Were Siskel and Ebert around back then? Was it them?
I have to check. But what were you going to say, Rob?
I haven't really looked at like any reviews or anything, but I can imagine that a lot of the reaction was probably to do with it being a Sidney Lumet film, because like I think it's like because Sidney Lumet is like so like well revered. Like he directed like 12 Angry Men, which is thought to be like one of the best films of all time. He did Failsafe, which is like again really highly rated. So I think people were probably going into a Sidney Lumet remake of Wizard of Oz expecting quite a lot from it. And then I also think when you've got a film starring Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, there's probably a bit of an ego thing as well, and it's like we're gonna tear this down because they're not actors. And I think I think as well, like I know I keep saying it, but like some of the production choices are so strange, and it's like because there were so many points where I was going like, you've got Sidney Lumet directing this, you've got Diana Ross and Michael Jackson and Nipsey Russell in this, like you've got budget.
Yeah.
I think it was to do with expectations.
That makes sense. It gave me vibes of like if Tim Burton was like doing stuff at the time, like if he was involved, like how he kind of went about Alice in Wonderland, like his kind of version. It gave me that really wacky, zany feel, which I love. To be honest, I love this film, but it was just like, man, this is really off the wall. This is great.
Off the wall.
The
See what he
two,
did there?
that wasn't on purpose. Oh man, that wasn't on purpose. That was great though. The two critics were Roger Ebert,
Yeah.
Ebert, and Jean Sisco.
That's
I'm
what
Yeah,
I
not
said.
sure. Okay, cool. Yes, I couldn't remember what you said. I was like, did she say this? But yeah, they were the one that gave. They both gave like 2 thumbs.
Yeah, Roger Ebert's always quite like kind to musicals and things that are a bit like camp. He wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
I don't know that. I think yes. So Roger Ebert is still around, and
No, he died a long time ago, but his website's still around. So like
Oh, okay.
people still post reviews on his website, and then you'll see it as like rogerebert.com. But yeah, he died a few years ago.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, in terms of like, I don't know if this is a production choice or like a creativity choice, but like, what was the weirdest to me? So I loved the choice of like having the graffiti people peel themselves off the wall. Thought that was like really kooky and strange. I love surrealism. I love like realistic things, everyday things, having a weird like fantasy twist to them. I love that. So that was one of my favorite parts. But the like weirdest random part of like surrealism, I guess you could say, is when they were in the subway and like the pillars start to like detach from the top and bottom.
I love that.
Shuffling. Like that was just like you could have gone a little further than that. That was some sort of weird middle ground of just like that wasn't fully thought through.
Yeah, I just liked how there was multiple points throughout the film where the things that were walking that shouldn't be walking, I'm just imagining the people inside them with the little holes with mesh so they could see. And then I think it's one of her Camilla's favorite scenes, like where he said, "Hey, Mike." And
That
then,
was my favorite scene.
sorry.
There's something weird and wholesome about that. Whereas I know what you guys are mean because I was feeling the same and I couldn't quite place it. But like this might sound really mental or bizarre, but some of the aesthetics and the production did remind me of David Lynch's Dune. And I don't know if it might sound like a bad thing, but just because of how that was executed in a very low budget kind of, well, I suppose to be fair, like David Lynch's Dune was not meant to be low budget. It was meant to be a high budget, massive success story, but it ended up being a massive flop. But it's just this weird, like late 70s, early 80s kind of, we're doing things kind of like with real props and real costumes and real makeup and real effects that are kind of just on camera with people in suits or people behind something, and it had that weirdness about it, and I feel like it's trying to do that. I suppose maybe it's got this weird cult classic vibe that Dune does have as well, but it's just you can imagine that these people are making it with the same sort of mindset. Maybe not as mad, not as low budget as something like Dark Star, but it's got a little bit of that flavor to it. Just people in these like costumes that are just worked on a couple of days before, and they're just held up together by like duct tape and a few bits of sellotape here and there. That's how I can imagine it being made.
It just have a like
And
DIY feel to it. Definitely.
Yeah, it's very homemade. But that's the important thing. It looks good on camera, but it just had the vibe of just being kind of like, we've just made this from scratch kind of thing. Yeah. And one last thing, one you guys were saying earlier is just like, I feel that The Wiz always had this uphill battle because of being compared to The Wizard of Oz, but in its defense, I suppose it depends on how you watched the film originally. I suppose if you grew up in the 80s and you hadn't seen the original Wizard of Oz and you saw this would be your version of that. and it would have ticked all those boxes for you because it just does all those things again in a different spin. Doesn't do them any worse, doesn't do them any better. It's just a different alternative of what you saw when the original film came out. And if you had no knowledge of that, it would work just as well. And especially for, like, I suppose if you're African American and you grew up in Queens or something and you saw Wiz in the early 80s, just after it came out in cinemas, and this film would have been everything, and I can see why it would have hit so many people and been so important to them, because it would have just been a piece of representation that they wouldn't have had before, and it would have just, like, yeah, if they saw the original if they saw the original Wizard of Oz in that time, it probably wouldn't have worked. But if they saw this, it would have, because it's just, there's so much familiarity and just this stuff in it that just is it speaks to the time and the zeitgeist, and everything about it. It just works in that era. And maybe that's the thing, it's the lightning in the bottle of that period of time. If it was made any earlier or any later, it probably wouldn't have been the film we know.
Yeah. We were just imagining what you call it, instead of Richard Pryor, if it was made modern day, like similar vibes. Who were you saying as the great Wizard of Oz?
Oh my gosh, what's his name? It's just gone from me.
He
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I was saying if it was like being done in a different way, I feel like
Can I just say it's been done? Jeff Goldblum has played the wizard.
Really?
I don't know if you maybe subconsciously knew that. He played the wizard in Wicked.
No way.
In Wicked.
We
haven't watched it yet. Oh,
So maybe you must have read it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hang on.
Oh, you've not seen Wicked?
It's already been cast.
I did not know that.
That's
Oh,
freaky.
man.
Like,
I
you
don't
should be,
think I've seen an ad with that on it. I must have missed it all of the crap.
you should be a
Doesn't sound like-
casting director.
Yeah.
I should be. I have some words with Christopher Nolan about the Odyssey. That's coming up.
Oh man. We will
Oh,
see what
right.
happens to that.
Yeah, well, that's a whole conversation on
It's going to be
Odyssey.
I can't watch this because I'm going to be upset because I like the book kind of moment. I've got too many feelings,
Oh,
but
so,
I won't judge it for I've watched it.
Little Mermaid Part 2.
It wasn't part 2.
I know.
And that's
But-
another reason I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't watch reboots 25 years after the original film. As you know.
I was gonna say we can get back to talk about the film, but just in case Rachel's still here, Rob, did you want to do favorite scenes? And then, like,
I can do
For anyone who's still
mine.
outside.
I'm gonna head off in a minute. Or I might listen in. I'm happy to do mine. My favourite scene is the dance scene, or the big group ensemble scene before she's about to meet the wizard, where they go from the green to the red to the gold.
the guy,
Yeah, I just thought it was quite, like, visually quite spectacular to see, like, I don't know, it felt like they were kind of, I don't know, exhibiting like black excellence, and it was just quite nice to see like the outfits and the large number and like the what's the word, like energy or pizzazz or sass that kind of like came with it. I thought that was really yeah, kind of just really well done. It's one of my favourite bits in Wicked, actually, when they arrive at the Emerald City. So I just thought it was quite nice to kind of yeah, just kind of see everyone kind of performing and that kind of like really big number, and the kind of the shots of it. I know Corey mentioned about like the wide shots, I guess, but I really like them for that purpose in that scene. So yeah, just something about it, the kind of the quick changes, the songs that kind of fit into that moment, the like lyricism of the song changing from those colours, I thought was just really nicely done, and kind of built up that sense of like yeah, that arrival to kind of this long awaited place. So I thought that was really, really good. I enjoyed that bit. Yeah. And then a special shout out for I loved the Michael Jackson quotes. I thought they were great as a scarecrow, just kind of having these like references that he was just reeling off from his reading or piece of paper. I thought that was that was great
Yeah.
because they're all very like fitting. And yeah, I really like that kind of addition to the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I really like that scene for just for like how simple it was, because it was like obviously you got the costumes, but in terms of like what's actually in the room, there's not much. But the colours changing from like green to red and then to gold, like it really changes a lot. And I was kind of sat there thinking like when you've got like sort of like a sort of decent vision for how you're gonna light a space, you really don't need a lot. Yeah, I thought it was really nice for that reason.
Yeah, that was really good. It was. I also find it interesting how, besides Quincy Jones, I felt like, and this is probably just more my imagination, but I felt like there were so many people I kind of slightly recognized. I was just like, that looks like it could be this person's parents or this person's uncle or this person. Like there was someone who looked like they were related to Childish Gambino. There was someone who looked like they was related to Janelle Monáe. I was just like, but it wouldn't even be surprising if one of their parents or relatives were in this anyway. Like everyone who was anyone was in the film. Like even he's looking at all the uncredited.
Yeah, like Luther Vandross, Cissy Houston, Robin Givens, Iman,
Yeah.
I can't remember who else. There were a lot.
Yeah, there's so many in that scene. But yeah.
Who was Luther Vandross?
He was in the We're All Free song. He's in the choir, so like I guess he's one of the people singing, but he also like he does the lead vocals at the beginning of it.
Okay. Cool.
Did you say Iman? Like Iman is Iman in the Emerald City scene?
Yes.
I swear
Did
I
you
saw
spot her?
I saw
I
her.
did. Yeah, she was an Emerald City resident. I had no idea. And then I was reading this rumor and I was like, Iman is in like Supermodel, wife of David Bowie, Iman. Yeah, she was in this film.
Oh yes. Oh, she like I'm disappointed she didn't like you only see you don't see her very long. Like oh my god, I knew I saw her.
Was she what was she doing? Was she the one who was laying on the couch? Or
She sang a lyric. I think she had a line or two. I'm sure she had. Didn't she come out of like the car? Did she come out of the... Didn't somebody step out or something? Was that not her? They stepped out of like a car or something.
Like definitely just saw her like in like maybe I
Yes.
missed her do something else, but when I saw her, she was just like one of the people. Like they did like you could see her face. Like she was like prominently in the group of people, but like when I saw her, she didn't do anything. She was just like, part of the like beautifully dressed people in the middle. Yeah.
She was on a sofa.
Oh.
oh, that was
In a
her.
green...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. You remember that scene? Oh, you probably was looking away at the time. But yeah, there was a part where I remember that like she was on the sofa, that scene. But you were looking down, but I didn't want to keep rewinding because we didn't have the time.
He rewinds a lot, so I do get over it sometimes. I can't believe I missed that.
Aw.
I literally blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
There was so much going on in that scene.
That was a lot.
And I was like, but I wanted to say, maybe you should look up, but you're not feeling the greatest. So I was, so I understood. But yeah, that scene was great. I think actually you go into your favorite one, and I'll do mine.
Well, as you already said, my favorite scene was when she's like, "I want to speak with the Wiz. Get Mike," and they're like, "No, get the mic," and then like a microphone walks up to them, and I was like, "This is like the pinnacle moment of like how bizarre, like just downright weird this film is." Because one, And everything that's happened the past like 10 minutes in the film have been such a whiplash going from
Oh yeah, they
this to
did say
this
get
to this to
Mike.
that.
Yeah.
Get Mike,
So he thought it was gonna be a
a
person.
person called Mike, and it's a giant microphone. And I'm
In
just
the-
like,
In the
what?
captions, they say like get Mike, like
Yes,
it's
that
a Mike named Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's more reason why like that was my expectations. I'm like, it says, is it like short for Michael? Yeah, and I really liked that bit. And I liked the bit when she realizes what the viewer already knew when like the Tin Man already has a heart. Straw Man? Scarecrow
Scarecrow.
already has a brain. Lion is already brave. Like
I mean, the Lion had to get his bravery. He was not always.
but he's always, you know,
It was in him all along.
exactly.
Deep down
Yeah.
inside.
He just needed to get it back.
And she doesn't even initially say like, "How am I going to get home?" She's too busy saying like how pleased she is that her friends do have what they need after all.
Yeah.
I think it's really lovely. One thing about the film, though, I do wish we kind of understood a bit more why. I've forgotten her name, but the auntie wanted her to go off somewhere and explore. So I feel like it's not super clear why. Like, yeah, she's not been, out of her neighborhood. But like, I don't know, it's being said to us from the position of like, oh, why teach kindergarten? Like, they're kids and kids are annoying, and like, go teach high school, the pay's better. And I'm like, first off, that sounds like so much grief. I don't blame her for not wanting to do it. I do kind of wish the film kind of let us know what their concerns about her were a bit more.
I felt for me, maybe this isn't enough, but I thought it was enough for me. But I thought some of the main reasons were one, she wanted her to meet someone and get married, and maybe like their social circles, she felt okay, maybe it's dried up for her. We need to kind of push her out her boat. She's really, really shy, really introverted. She's if she carries on like this, she's gonna be kind of like that character. Is it in Little Shop of Horrors? There's a kind of lady who like does. I'm not sure if that's the right film, but she doesn't really go out or do anything or meet anyone. Actually, no. I think
Pushing Daisies.
no. I think I'm thinking of Rocky. Oh my goodness.
I was just going to say,
Adrian!
Adrian?
Adrian.
but
But
actress
yeah,
in Pushing
I guess
Daisies.
Audrey kind of was a bit like that, but she still went out
Yeah.
in Little Shop.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, not her. But yeah, more like Adrian. I felt that was a big driving point. Of course, like getting married,
I definitely
of
got that
course.
she wanted to find a man then.
And then I felt like and while I feel that there was a little bit of this, but I don't know how much of it, if it was that main of a thing, but the whole kind of thing goes, we have to make something of ourselves. You have to do as much as you can to get as high as you can. And you're getting this opportunity. So take it. This is not something we get all the time. So if you're getting this opportunity, go and take it. And I feel like that was a really important thing back then as well, when a lot of Black people didn't get opportunities to really be bringing in much money at all, and they just had to settle for whatever it was. So I think there was that element. I think those two were really the kind of elements of it.
I guess.
In my head. But Um,
Sorry, I just derailed favorite scenes.
oh no, that's perfectly fine. It's great. This is why I wanted you on the call. Um,
I was gonna go to bed and I was asked not to.
her insights are way too good to not be on the call, even if it's just a voice.
I thought you were gonna say her insides are trying to kill her.
What?
My uterus is trying to kill me.
I wasn't going to say that. No, that's more for you to say. Um, my favorite scene. I mean, besides the scene you already said in the with the red, green, gold kind of thing, which again, crazy impressive. I like the whole kind of Eveline scene was just, I don't know, that was all mad. I was just thinking, how is this gonna go? And then there's one lady right or one person right at the front who's like overzealously like working. Everyone else is just like, okay. And they're just like, oh yeah. It was just like, what's going on? And then obviously it starts breaking out, people doing splits and everything. I mean, there's a lot of that anyway. And then the crows, you're like, oh, the crows are here. Wait, there's the ladies from the red light district. They're here too. They've been forced. And even things like, I know this is all over the place, but the way the crow just gave her the dog, just like, yeah, I don't care. Just take the dog. I don't even want to be here. Like, I'm here by force. Yeah, cool. It was just really funny all around, and just yeah, it was really nice. There was lots of little small moments in that from the Tin Man going, it's okay. Like I'm just hollow inside, and then Michael, Scarecrow trying to say, "No, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't feel much of anything. It's just a little rearrangement. It's okay." Trying to really kind of allay her fears because she was just really, really worried and really feeling so bad. And obviously, afterwards, even though, as Camilla said they weren't free technically yet, um, or completely free in a way. Um, they were so happy. It's like, it don't matter. Yes, we're still alive. Didn't expect to come back from that. And even with Diana Ross's kind of dance and acting, like so happy that she's barely sticking to the choreography. It's just like it's just all really just lots of really nice moments throughout that scene. And the singing, of course, great. I mean, throughout. But yeah, love that scene. I think, was there a scene? This is not a favorite scene, but just a mention. I think there was a scene near the beginning where the Numbers Witch was singing, and it reminded me a little bit near the end of the number of Oogie Boogie, of like his vocal style, how he would sing some of his lines. But if a lady was to do it, like near the end of the song, she went more into a style that was similar to Oogie Boogie's. I was just like, this is great. This is awesome. Yeah. Anyway, that's mine.
Nice. I could, yeah. So I think, yeah, I want to say, not, yeah, one of my favorite scenes was like when Scarecrow was introduced and like mentioned, like Rachel mentioned, I loved his like the his character and how he was like built and written, because I thought it was just absolutely precious that he was just like pulling out like pieces of paper, and that's where he's been like learning all the stuff he knows.
Yeah.
Like he just knows all these quotes, and like sometimes the quotes would come at the funniest times. I think like when he learned that like uh the Wiz was like a politician, and he had a funny quote for that. He's like political office is like what was it?
Something to do with being incompetent, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the public office is the last refuge of the incompetent.
Yeah.
Going to public office.
It's just like I loved like the quotes that like pulling like just like gave so much to work with in the story, and it's so like so much good humor to come from that. I really and so much like poignance and like meaningfulness too. I just loved that. I thought that was a really cool, brilliant character and feature. But another part where he like really made me laugh was when I think somebody already brought up when they figured out that the lion isn't like brave and like he was just putting on a show, and he burst into tears for the first time, and Scarecrow was just like, is this guy for real? His face was just perfect. I thought he did such a great job. I was like, like when these big stars are put into movies, you kind of feel like, yeah, to like gain like attention and like bring in money, and then you don't know what kind of game they're gonna bring, right? I think he brought it, and he did very
Yeah.
well. So yeah, he made me laugh numerous times. I think. Let me see if I have anything more written down. I have one more.
Yeah. Even the physicality of Michael Jackson, like he kept the kind of walking funny kind of thing for
Yes.
most of the film. It is great. Like even when they walked up to the door at Emerald City, like he was still doing that. And it's just like
Yeah.
this guy's great.
Yeah,
I did
and
hate
no,
his singing,
not
though. Not his singing, but like how he moved when he was singing, when he was still on the Scarecrow pole. That was horrible. I couldn't look at that. I was like, I don't like this.
because he did such a like convincing job, right?
Like
He
the
was like,
gyrations and stuff. I was like, no, I don't like this.
oh. Oh, but yeah, I had another favorite line. It was when they first saw the Wiz, and they were all scared and intimidated, and the Wiz called. He said, "And what do you want, you overstuffed animal cracker?" when he was talking to
Yeah.
the lion. I just thought that was a good line too. Some really good
Oh
lines.
man, it's been forever since I've had animal crackers.
They're good. I haven't had them in a long time either.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get them here, but to be honest, I feel like they're not that different in taste from like rich tea biscuits.
Oh, are they not over there? Are they only over here?
Yeah, no, you'd have to import them, but they're like slightly snappier, slightly crunchier,
Crackers. Rich tea biscuits are a whole different.
but they don't taste like
don't savory.
crackers.
Well, yeah,
No.
it's not. Yeah, we call them animal crackers, but they're a biscuit. They're a sweet biscuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So from even though yeah, it is memory, but yeah, they're like rich tea biscuits. That's the closest I can compare it to. Just slightly snappier, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see if we can find a shop.
But the thing is that I think that's also partly why I liked rich tea biscuits when I came over here. I was like, ooh, this tastes nice.
Okay, I'll get you rich tea biscuits.
I'm okay. I've to be honest, you can get me them. I will eat them slowly. They don't have too much sugar, so it might actually be a nice thing. I'll eat some, drink a little milk once every few hours.
Cool.
But yeah, there's a lion. Like they're all in shapes of different animals. Like
Yeah,
the lion one. Yeah. Mm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
that's great. Oh man.
Is anyone else left?
Anyone else left?
The Salmon Rose.
I am still kind of thinking because you guys have said a lot of the good scenes as well, so I'm trying to think about a favorite scene that was not said. Oh man, it's hard, right? Let's nitpick at certain bits of this film again. There are certain bits that didn't make sense as well. it's kind of like, okay, I get the Tin Man is tin, and he like when he cries, he rusts and stuff, and that's like, okay, that's funny and all. When they finally like defeat the evil, the Wicked Witch, and the fire high like sprays like going all around the room and stuff. He shouldn't be able to dance, right? Because he didn't get oiled up afterwards. He got all that water on him, and he's still like jigging along, but he didn't get oiled up. You know, did no one slid him some oil? So he shouldn't be able to do that.
Didn't he was on the thing when they smashed him, and then after the sprinklers went off and the witch melted, then they were able to rebuild him. So maybe when they rebuilt him, they oiled him.
Maybe, yeah. So they fixed him up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the sprinklers were still on. No, the sprinklers were still on during that time because the sprinklers were still on because they were on when they were unclothing them. Like unclothing is probably the right. I don't know if the right. I don't think that's the right. They were removing the outer suits. All right, the sprinklers were still on, and like that's when they started to do the big like finishing dance number. Right, it was very catchy, but it was almost like it's one of those things I go, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. It's one of those really annoying nitpicks that made me go, yeah, but he shouldn't be able to move. It doesn't make sense that he moves, but it's like because if they did a joke about him like getting stiffed up, and afterwards one of the guys goes, whoops. Okay, he starts dancing again. I would have been like, that actually is like aesthetically very perfect for the film. But they didn't. They just started dancing, and it's like, it's a silly thing, but it's just like, it's just one of those things that go, this doesn't, no, it doesn't make sense. Anyways, but it's like, oh man, what else is there? Because
to add to that, because I don't know, maybe he was oiled up enough still that it meant he didn't get rusty straight away. But besides that,
no, he would have got quite wet though.
Yeah,
but no one else seemed to be wet either. Like no one's, skin was wet or hair was wet or anything.
Yeah, who knows? But maybe it was just so hot, it just evaporated. But no, it was a sweatshop. But anyway, there's
that was a bad pun.
Yeah. The what you call it? In my head, this is a reference to something, but I don't remember what it is. So I don't know if anyone else will remember it for me. But I was expecting almost when he first cried, the Tin Man cried, and someone had got it on their face and almost tasted it. I imagine someone going, motor oil. What?
I'm sorry, that's so gross. That's someone crying and the tears are falling.
Did that not happen in literally the last film that we just watched of Elemental, where he goes,
yes,
it's motor oil. Yeah, that's literally the last thing last.
That's what I was like. My brain just expected that to happen, like oil or motor oil. What? Why do I taste? I was like, wait, what? Sorry.
Yeah, if he cried oil, then he wouldn't have the problem of rusting himself.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
I guess it's all the little bits and bobs that you're kind of just quick snaps of things that happen in the film that are quite entertaining to see. It's it's the mic stuff, but it's also things like when we have the introduction of the Tin Man, you have the backup chorus singers hidden in the background.
Yeah.
And they start singing it out, and Scarecrow is like, what? And they stop. And he's like, what? That doesn't. Wait, what? I was just like, it's all the little things that slowly build up into the collective of the film, because it blends fairly well together. Certain bits are again don't translate as well as when you watch the original, But I do think like the poppies being the red light district was quite funny. I don't know exactly why they did it that way, but I was like, oh right, yeah, but yeah, it makes sense in New York. That's about it.
Can I quickly ask a plot hole? I must have like looked away didn't pay attention for just a moment. After they defeat the Wicked Witch of the West, and obviously the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and Lion have all been like, they've been messed up and beyond repair. How did they get the Tin Man back to where he was after he was squashed?
So they didn't show us properly, but what they did, we opened the press, or the press was already open, but they gathered around him and they used crowbars and tools and other things to bend him back into shape, basically.
Oh yeah. They had like
They did address it. Okay, that's good.
they wrenched him back into shape.
They
But
sort
it's
of-
like it was just like, all right, yeah, just like
That's a very
background.
I don't talk about it, but at least they referenced it. It wasn't like he's magically back. He's the only one I felt like, wait, how the hell are they gonna undo that? I was just seriously, he's
But
literally
also, how did they stitch get like the Shaman, like Scarecrow, sorry, back together so well?
so quickly. Yeah,
I think his legs were slightly different as well. Like afterwards, it's just like they don't look quite the same.
yeah, that's one
I
of the
like-
things.
I like that. I think if they looked quite a little wonky after, I think that'd be funny and like a good, good detailed continuity or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like those things that kind of like appreciate them doing, like making the tension more, more ominous and horrible for the characters. Like it's really quite dangerous, and there's so much what's the word? I forget my language in my head, but you know what I'm trying to say. They've upped the stakes from the original to a degree, which I do appreciate because it kind of like made all of them more vulnerable. But at the same time, I wish they could have explained more of how they could have got back to the way they were, or at least there would have been more of a consequence, like Corey mentioned, that they would have had to suffer to get where they were, kind of thing. But that's why I do love the bookend of the original film, the fact that the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Lion were just a reflection of the people in Dorothy's life she knew in real life, and they kind of like in her subconscious, her psyche. So that's what's so cool about films like The Wizard of Oz or any version of it, is that it's kind of like, is it a dream? Is it not? Is it kind of something that happened? Is it something, a hallucination? I love those things where it's just you don't quite know if it is this or that, but it has this element of doubt where it could be both. And so yeah, I appreciate that. Favorite scene, I suppose, like I mentioned before, was the introduction of the big three, and I just love how they did MJ's Scarecrow, very unique, very specifically him, and then I really loved how they did the Tin Man, especially just his the way he is set up to be just this carnival kind of thing. That was a great touch. And Lion just obviously finding kind of solace just being like this inanimate statue kind of thing, trying to find purpose in the world kind of thing. So they all were really well done, and each had the really good, satisfying introduction. It was a great song. All three of them had. That was my favorite bit. The three sequences.
You just reminded me. I've related. I feel for Richard Pryor's character a little bit, like Camilla was pointing out, like how like crazy he's like how did you say it?
It's the way that like his movements were like just demonstrating he's a guy in a lot of he's going through it. He's in a lot of distress. Like his body language was really yeah.
And this guy just landed in this random place, and he's been like scared
What I'm
and
saying
going
though,
crazy ever since.
he sounds so desperate. Like if you're trying to be a politician, any kind of politician, and no one's voting for you, go volunteer somewhere, or like just work in the community. Why do you need to be a politician? Or why would you want to be a politician just for being a politician's sake?
I don't think I feel like he didn't want to be just for politicians.
Then why are you being a dog? Whatever it was.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Like
Yeah, he gave up and like went to be wanting to be a dog catcher.
yeah, I'm like, and you're canvassing for votes to be a dog. Go just get a regular job. Like that was weird.
Because I wonder. Obviously, this is just me putting my own imaginations on it. But I wonder if at first the reason he really wanted to be the mayor or whatnot was for like representation purposes, like to help his people.
I mean, sure, but again, dog catcher
But that was when he gave up.
going down and down and down and down in different tiers, and it's like you don't need to do that. And whatever it was you were originally trying to do, you're not going to achieve it the way you're going about it. So
Do you know
But
what?
yeah, I wonder why he didn't try and get a normal job instead
I
of being a dog catcher.
that's what I've just been saying.
Yeah.
I think he was
I
a
was
bit
just
lost. I think he was lost when he was like in the real world. And he hadn't yet I remember at the very end Dorothy had something to say to him, right? Like some advice. And I
Yeah.
think and so like he hadn't figured out how to like set his life straight, and like he hasn't found out what like who he is inside yet and what he should really do with himself. And she was saying that
Yeah.
obviously he didn't figure out in the real world, and when he got to Oz he still didn't figure out. He was just like locked himself in a room and is like scared all the time. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're really left to wonder what's gonna come of him, but at least he got some good advice at the end.
Yeah. It was a cool reflection of, like Ben was referencing, and different things, like of her own life and how she'd never been south of 125th Street, which, even though it's not the same street, makes me think of across 110th Street.
Across the 110th Street. Oh, who did that? Was it
I think something Mac. Is it? I don't know.
Bobby Womack.
Bobby Womack. Womack.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Very, very different theme song, but it's just like, this makes me think of this.
It reminds me of the Shaft theme.
Oh,
His
yes.
face empties.
Yeah, I could hear it in my head. Yeah, Shaft, definitely. Yeah, classic. But yeah, it was really nice how obviously she learns a lot of the lessons through all of them. I think multiple people have said. I think Corey said the same thing. I found it interesting that instead of like in the I haven't seen the original film. I just know bits about the book because of reading stuff up. But in the original book, Dorothy wakes up in bed, kind of thing, and they're like, "Oh, it was a dream." But in this one, she just goes back to where she was when she left, still standing there. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I missed from the original, is that I wished it was more like she could face her family, and we saw them all again, and you see the the people she met along the way as her real family, which was it was just one thing I missed as a little touch. But I guess why they didn't do it because it had been an extra 10, 15 minutes to the end of the film, and it made the film even longer. So either way,
That's enough of an excuse though, because there's so many random bits that could have been trimmed down a bit to just get the story better ending.
to get that ending, I would have had to done that. Yeah, you'd have to trim those bits out just to get that kind of like full circle moment.
Yeah, but like again, it would have been back to it being a Christmas movie. She could have had like an argument with them, like during Christmas dinner. She leaves, then she comes back into her room. They're like, "You run out on the you run out in the storm during Christmas time." Look, and then afterwards, some more relatives that they didn't see before comes in, and they're like, "Oh, it's you, because you were there, and you were there, and you were there." But like, oh, it's like the original almost, and it's like. But again, I think they purposely cut it away from the original because it's like this is their story and it's this particular style of the story, and it's like it has its
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's a
differences.
much nicer way of thinking of the ending than I thought, because I was expecting the ending to be she ran out into this. We saw her running out into the New York street in a blizzard to get the dog. I was expecting it to be she like slipped on the ice and fell and hit her head and she wakes up like in the hospital. I was really thinking that's how it was going to end or something along
Yeah.
those lines. So
That makes sense.
just
Yeah.
walking across the street, I'm like, what? Like, how do we account for all the time you've been gone?
And you went up in the air. I don't. I
Like,
mean,
what's going on?
Well, if she was in a coma,
Yeah.
if she was in a coma, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like movie magic because like she crashes through like the sign which kills the first witch. Because like if you think about it too much, you're not gonna survive a tornado or whatever it is, an ice storm. It's a specific like an ice tornado. It doesn't make sense. It's like I mean like. It's like yeah, it's movie magic stuff. It doesn't matter too much. Don't think about it too much.
Well,
Yeah.
like in like many like fantasy stories, like if you have a real world and a fantasy world like in the same universe, like often is the case is like the fantasy world's time passing doesn't necessarily align with like the real world's time, the rate of
Oh.
time. I mean.
Yeah. But then at the same time, it feels like it should be more of a blink of an eye. Because I was like, if nothing else, you were supposed to be taking the bins out. You ran outside after the dog. The door is open. There's an ice storm. The bins have not been taken out. Like, I would want an explanation. Like, wait, you went out. You left the door wide open. Like the heating bills are cheap. And you haven't even done what you were supposed to be doing. You've been gone for how long? Like, I don't know. I just felt like
that's funny.
but I just want an explanation. Like, I can imagine one of my aunties if I was supposed to be doing a chore and I didn't do the chore and I disappeared off. It would be a conversation that might be worth having. I don't know.
Look, it was a Christmas miracle. That's it. Just stop thinking about it too much. It was
Okay.
a Christmas miracle.
You keep saying it's. Are we sure it's Christmas? Did we see any Christmas?
There was no
decorations?
tree.
Look,
Thanksgiving.
there were wreaths.
It could have
There
been
were
Thanksgiving.
wreaths.
Oh.
Were there reefs?
There was like a literal like Christmas cards like wreathed up onto the side of the wall. There were relatives playing checkers and arguing about how they play checkers. Come on
wait.
now, that's
Was
Christmas.
Was it?
Thanksgiving.
Or maybe if he said there were a string of cards, that would probably mean it was after New Year's. Like maybe the family got together after New Year's because it's.
The tree would still be up though.
Or is it Boxing Day?
They don't do Boxing Day anymore.
I know, but the point is there was no tree.
If it was Boxing Day, that'd still be a tree. 'Cause it's the day after Christmas.
I don't know. Some people might take down the tree. I'm just saying
That's
between
just-
then and New Year's Eve.
No, just say, let's say it's a New York apartment. There's no space for a tree. It's fine.
To be fair, that also confused me because they're in this apartment, and I thought, how are you going to have all of these people in your house? And then you come to the dinner table, and it's full, and there were all those kids running around, and yet there's still a random spare table for them to go and play checkers. I'm just like, how big is this house? Do you live in a TARDIS? Like, what's going on?
In the day, places were bigger, even in New York. So,
Well, that's it then. We need to go back in the day so that we can all have big enough houses to live in. I want to have 25 people around my dinner table, as long as I don't have to cook for them. You bring your own food.
potluck.
There's a turkey and a ham and all that stuff. That's a lot of cooking.
Genuinely how my mum does Christmas dinner. Like, even when there's like 5 of us, there's a turkey, there's a ham, there's salmon, there's like 2 types of potatoes and rice and peas and a bunch of veg. Like, there's 5 people at the table, mum. She can't help herself.
Yeah. One of the last things I was gonna say, it was nice that they took more, I'll say, inspiration and reference from the original book rather than the first film adaptation. So, like, how unlike the first film adaptation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they included both of the evil witches. No, they included both of them in. No, they gave them. No, let me go back. Sorry. Her shoes in the book, they're silver compared to the film being red. So they, for multiple reasons, there was that. Plus, they thought, okay, this looks better on Diana Ross in her outfits. So they went back to the silver shoes. And I know many versions have done this since anyway, but it was kind of cool that they gave names to the Wicked Witches.
If only they gave one of the Wicked Witches a whole film explaining why she's a Wicked Witch. That would be really interesting.
Well, I mean, like, because this is like a musical stage play, maybe they could make a musical version of this, right? Is
That's
that what
a
you want?
great
Yeah.
Well, do you
They
know
should,
what?
they should think about that.
Yeah, they should put Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, they should. I
Yeah.
would love to see that. I was speaking that into existence.
But that's a difference where I was like, I've never read the book. I've seen the one with Judy Garland's, that Wizard of Oz. And from what I remember in that one, I thought it was like the good, you know, like in this in the
Oh, that's it. They didn't include both good witches in the Judy Garland version,
Right.
but they included both the good witches in this one because in the book you have 2 good witches.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
So I was
there is
confused.
like obviously 2 bad witches, 2 good witches, north, south, east, and west.
Oh, yeah.
It's all kind of even split, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that the one that I've seen did that. That's interesting. And they changed a major thing to change the color of the shoes.
They did.
I mean,
I like they did that in this one because
I think
it
it
gives
made-
a point of difference.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it
was
doesn't
saying,
just
like-
feel like a remake. It feels like it's ever so slightly different tale
Yeah.
that's been told.
I was talking about, like, I thought, like, I think it's a bold choice to change the color of the shoes from silver to red from the book to the
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
yeah,
I
like,
think I get that a bit though, because red shoes there's like the folklore,
Wait, oh,
not folklore, but like
Yeah, like
The
Red
red-
Riding Hood and all sorts of
no,
stuff.
it's the red
And they stick out.
shoes.
oh, yeah, no, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. If it's
Oh.
like, if you think about the
I can't
original
remember
film,
the story that's based that the movie is inspired by like a fairy tale story. I think it's like a Brothers Grimm story or something.
oh, really? That I don't know about.
And that's the story they tell in So you know, in the movie The Red Shoes, there's the ballet. The ballet tells this fairy tale, I think.
Oh, man, I haven't watched Wicked in
Something along
ages.
those lines. A friend of mine literally, she studied fashion and she wrote, I think she might have written her dissertation about red shoes and iconography of red shoes.
Like
in
red is a
Interesting.
very powerful
like
color. It's very
entertainment.
eye-catching, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was because it being in Technicolor in like during that time,
That was
the green and the black and the red was a very
It was-
distinctive
It
color.
really popped.
Yeah, it would have really like popped off onto like the screen. I'd be like, oh yeah, because you can very much see the shoes, and it would be like part of her character design. But like, there might have been other reasons for it, like lore wise, but I just can't think of it currently. If that is the case.
I think the kind of saying like ruby slippers and emerald city together, that goes
Oh,
very
Yeah,
well.
it's a very good
Emeralds and
jewel.
rubies are like technically the same jewel, they're just in different colors.
In
That
the
was a really
original-
good touch. Sorry.
Sorry.
I was
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say quickly, a good touch where when they get into the Emerald City and everything's all wonderfully green and brilliant, and then they said, "Oh, green's out. And what's in now? Red," and then they just change everything to like this ready ruby tinge. I thought that was a good reference to kind of like the Emerald City versus the Ruby Slippers kind of thing. I thought it was a really good little touch there. That it would change on the whim because of the wizard said so kind of thing. That was a nice touch.
But
Yeah,
the wizard
sorry.
is evidently enjoying being the wizard. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all of your, oh, I hate it, and I'm a fraud, and this and that, and I'm just
I like
bad.
the
But it's
power.
like, I don't know, you're just changing things up on a whim, and you're enjoying torturing these people. So, like,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Power corrupts.
yeah.
he's a
didn't get-
politician.
Oh yeah. We didn't get a really good sense of like we didn't get to know those Emerald City people very well. So
Mhm.
it's like I don't know how they felt about it all. They looked like they're having a good time. But yeah, I did like it came up that we kind of felt I can imagine how much fear he was feeling and very trapped and like did you see the bed he was sleeping on? That was crappy. I felt
Yeah,
bad
that
for
was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some like sort of what youth hostel YMCA level bed, wasn't it?
Poor guy.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they had the little the element the weather. What was it? I won't say even saying it was the hot air balloon, but the basket of the balloon. You could see that he still kept as a memento of how he got to Oz, which was a really good integral part of the books. How he literally was just like this entertainer who just was swept up in a tornado on his hot air balloon and suddenly found himself in Oz. I thought that was a good little touch there, that he still kept that as a kind of reminder of where he came from.
Oh yeah, isn't it in the books or something that they kind of go up in a hot air balloon at one point?
Yeah, that's how the wizard he lands in Oz because he's just like Dorothy. He was just a normal man, and he just sort of goes there first.
In that movie adaptation, the old one, from what I remember, Emmanuel, do you care to hear the end of the movie?
Yeah, tell me, it's fine.
Oh yeah, so like from what I remember, that guy, the wizard guy, got back going in his hot air balloon again to try to go back to his home, and I remember like Dorothy was gonna try to go with him, but Toto ran away, and then so
Yeah,
That damn dog.
and then she went after the dog,
yeah.
Oh, that's
and then, but they kept going. How many of them kept going on in the balloon?
I think it was just going to be her and Oz and the
It
Wizard
was
of
just
Oz.
him, yeah. It was supposed to be him and Dorothy, but he went on his own. Yeah.
Yeah, because like they couldn't stop the hot air balloon. She had to just keep, she missed her chance.
Second film this year with the hot air balloon being a major plot
Oh yeah.
and plot point.
What's
That's
the other one?
funny.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh, was there a hot air balloon in it?
I mean,
There was hot
Well, technically it is. I guess if you can
I mean,
call
they're blimps.
the blimp, the dirigible, whatever it is.
yeah, the delivery.
well,
Okay,
in
she's
Elemental,
Yeah,
in
Emmanuel's
Elemental
Forest.
there was a hot air balloon too.
Oh yeah, there was.
Yeah, what is something there?
Which one?
Elemental.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
It's just
He
last
like makes
week.
one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it
This
makes
is the
sense.
hot air balloon round. So this is literally the round of Pat and his hot air.
Are we ready to hear next week's pick?
Yeah, Rob, was there a hot air balloon in your film?
Oh wait, is it? Oh yeah, is it Rob's pick, right? Yeah. What was
I
pick?
don't think there's a hot air balloon in it. There is an aircraft in it, but yeah, there's definitely an aircraft. Whether the aircraft is a hot air balloon, I don't think so, but maybe. So I wasn't actually sure what I was going to pick until about 5 minutes ago, because it was kind of like, because I was going to pick Wizard of Oz, and then I was kind of like, I was still on the fence about it, and then when I was watching The Wiz, I was like, I can't do this 2 weeks in a row.
Thanks,
So
I
I'm not
appreciate
doing
that.
Wizard of Oz. So that's coming, but not immediately. So the film I'm going to do instead is our first M. Night Shyamalan film. So
Oh,
I'm going to do Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, cool.
nice.
Okay,
I've not
interesting.
seen it in so long.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick it for ages. I love it.
Have a marathon and watch all 3 movies at the same time.
Unbreakable.
Oh, I will skip. I will
I
skip.
haven't seen it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to Camilla. I said I'm not gonna watch the trilogy again. Not again. I'm gonna split. I'm gonna skip split. Even though I really like it, I don't need to see it again. I'm gonna watch Glass.
I've not seen Split, so
You can
It's
watch
really
Split, and I'll sit next to you doing something else.
So
anyway,
once you
I love
watch
Unbreakable.
Yeah,
I
Unbreakable.
actually
We'll watch
watched-
Unbreakable and then we will watch Split.
Wait, which one is
Actually,
the second? Oh, yeah,
Split's the
Split
second.
second.
Glass is the one that
Split is
very
the
good.
Yes.
Corey's like, what the fuck?
Every
Oh, yeah.
single time I hear the name Unbreakable, I think of the line when Kanye West references it in All Falls, not All Falls Down.
It's,
What's it called?
Through the Wire.
Yeah, when he's like Unbreakable, but you know they call me Mr. Glass. I'm like,
So when I
That's such
first
a good
watched
line.
Unbreakable, so I knew the song before I knew Unbreakable, because like College Dropout
Same.
is one of my favourite albums, right? So
it's
the
such
year
an iconic album.
the year that came out, like I listened to it so much, and
Yeah.
the first time I watched Unbreakable, so when Glass comes in, I was like, oh shit, that's the line, it's him.
Yeah.
Like-
I had the same moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. I get this reference. So because I think the song came out, I think I was like in year 6 or year 7, and then I didn't watch the movie until I was like 17 or 18. So it was quite a few years later that
yeah,
I-
yeah.
watched the film, then I got the reference.
Yeah,
I was so proud of myself. I was like, I get it.
So College Dropout came out when we were 14. So yeah. So we would have been like year 9, year 10, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was spinning year 7 then.
Yeah.
So-
But yeah, that summer, that was all I listened to. That and Jay-Z's Black Album. That was all I listened to that summer. And yeah,
Good time.
yeah. But yeah,
It's a
I
good
remember
era.
watching Unbreakable for the first time and being like, sweet, I know what's going on now.
Yeah, Unbreakable. So where's it? Is it playing anywhere?
I think it's actually on Disney Plus.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Let me have a look.
Disney Plus.
So are those movies a trilogy for real or no?
Yeah, so they're,
Oh,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, 100% they are, because like I watched Split. I didn't watch Unbreakable because I guess I missed it. Like when I was I watched
Oh, it's the
Split.
best one.
then I go, wait, wasn't that because of? Yeah, and like it was like, oh, weird, because I thought Split was his own like independent like sort of
Yeah.
film. Then
It
he
was marketed
connected.
as such.
Yeah, then he connected it together. Then afterwards, it was like, oh, wait, I didn't. Wait, that's interesting. Then after Glass came out, I was like, okay, so it's all connected.
Yeah.
I actually haven't watched Glass as well. I guess I
Glass
should.
isn't great. Like so Unbreakable and Split you can watch as like self-contained films, but if you do watch it as a trilogy, Glass is really disappointing.
Yeah.
That sounds.
He kind of such that Split was marketed as a standalone original movie kind of thing. It's only until the final scene or the post-credit scene that it becomes in continuity with Unbreakable, and then Glass is obviously addressing that entirely. But for better or worse, that film didn't really work for me either, just because it kind of like it tried to kind of like link everything up, and it tried to do too much more than it could handle, and it just didn't quite work. But yeah, if you watch them all as singular entities, probably a better experience.
But yeah, Split is definitely worth watching.
Yes, it was very interesting, just like watching it by itself, because watching it, and you go, oh, I thought again, standalone film, very interesting concept. Realize it's part of a bigger universe. I was like, that's kind of cool. We'll see how it goes. I've heard bad reviews of Glass as well from you, and I'm not just like I mean, like I've heard like everyone says it was a bit disappointing, but it's like it was the acting from James McAvoy. Well, I mean, again, he was good in Split, so I was good in Glass. But I was like, it was quite interesting to see like all the little details. I mean, you can see it in the trailers where they have like all the different toothbrushes for all of his like different personalities, and I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. It was again, I love the little bits that make the film come together quite well. But again, I mean, this is like we're discussing this too much. We'll discuss this on another time. Oh yeah, and yeah, it is on Disney Plus.